morning, boys and girls. Today for our math lesson, I need you to turn to page 71 in our big practice book. Okay, so the big warm-up book, not your tiny one, your big workbook that has the explorers. You want to turn to page 71. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Go ahead and press pause on the video until everyone is on page 71 of your big workbook. All right, now that everybody is on page 71, we are working through, just like our warm-up stated, we are working through multiplying decimals, okay? We're going to take it step by step. I know that in our warm-ups, we jumped right in, and that's okay. Right now, we're going to represent, and then we're going to solve. So we're going to look at it. We're going to, here's our problem. We're going to represent it, and then we're going to solve it, okay? So the first thing to do is I want to write an expression. This says that I have two groups of 3 cakes, okay? Easy enough. I know that I have two groups of 3 cakes, okay? So I'm multiplying 2 times 3, okay? And how I represent it is very simple. Here's one group. Here's another group. Love my cake looking, right? And so each group has 3 cakes. So here's my first group of 3 cakes, my second group of 3 cakes. How many cakes do I have in all? I have 6 cakes. Please pause the video and make sure that everybody has their paper, page 71, looks like mine. You may unpause the video when you are ready to move on. All right, moving on. The second thing says I have 2 groups. So I still have 2 groups. However, I have 2 groups of 3/10 of each cake flavor. Okay, so I have 2 groups of 3/10. Now going back to what a base 10 block looks like, these are my tenths. So I have 2 groups of 3/10. So there's 3/10. Here's my second group, 3/10. So I have 2 of 3/10. Okay? That means I have, if I count them, I have 6/10. Or, boys and girls, I can write my decimal 6/10 of a cake. Go ahead and pause my video to make sure everybody's paper looks like mine, and then you can press play when you guys are ready to move on. All right, seems like we are ready to move on. We're going to move on to the next section. Again, I have 2 groups. Well, I have 3/100 of each cake flavor. So again, I'm going to multiply it by 3/100 of each cake flavor. Again, looking at my base 10 blocks, here are my 10s. Here are my 1s. So here are my 2 groups, 1 and 2. Okay. Each group has 3. So I have each group that has 3. If I count it again, I have 6/100. Or I can write it by decimal, 6/100 of a cake. All right. Again, pause the video. Let me know when you are ready to move on. Let's look at that question. The question says that as you moved through the orders, what changed about the digit 3? as I'm moving from my ones to my tenths to my hundredths, my digit is moving one place value to the right. Starts here, my ones. I move it over to the right to the tenths. And now I'm moving it over to the right again. And this time it's in the hundredths. Okay? And my value of the digit is decreasing by 1/10. My tenth, and now I'm decreasing another tenth to the hundredths. Okay? How did changing the place value of the digit 3 affect the place value of the product? So how did changing that digit 3, where I had that digit 3, how did it affect the place value? How did it affect where it was at, the value? Okay, so the digit in the product, the digit in what I'm multiplying, also, my answer, the digit in my answer, that's my product, also moved one place. It also moved one place value to the right. And so my value is decreasing again by 1/10. Here's 6. I decrease by 1/10 and I have tenths now, 6/10. I decrease again by 1/10 and I get 6/100. So as I'm moving, my product is also decreasing by 1/10. All right, boys and girls, you are going to now move in to your next worksheet. And the next worksheet that you are going to work on looks like this. Place value relationship. Okay. So this is it's a two-sided paper and it should be in the folder. So please, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to pass that out. And then once that's passed out, then we are going to move on. So go ahead and pause this video until all of that's passed out. All right, boys and girls, we are now moving into our you guys are going to move into your independent work. All right. For this, I want you to work independently and solve both pages. Okay. At the end, right now, you're going to pause the video while you solve it, while you work on it. And then at the very end, your substitute is going to press play again. And then you are going to work through it and correct your answers with me. So go ahead and pause the video while everybody works independently on this. Welcome back, boys and girls. We are now working on our place value. You should be done with your place value relationships handout. We're going to go through it together and hopefully your answers match mine. If they not, please make sure they do. Okay, 2 groups of 7/10. Again, I'm just multiplying. 2 groups of 7/10. Right? And I'm going to draw it. I can draw 2 groups of my 7/10. There's 1 group of 7/10. There you go. There's my 7/10. Okay? So, my product, my answer, I'm going to look through it and I'm going to count it. And again, I'm just going to use my model to help me solve it. Here's 7. So here's 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, 10/10. So here's 10/10. So I have 1. 10/10 is 1. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/10 left. Okay, so 1 and 4/10. Now, I have 2/10 right here of 7/10. 2/10 of 7/10. So I'm going to choose my 7/10 right here. And I'm just going to kind of color my 7/10 right there. All of that's my 7/10, right? Okay. Now, just to help you out with another color with my pencil, I'm going to do 2/10. Okay, here's my 2/10. So this is how I would color it. Here's my 2/10 and there's my 7/10. Now, my answer is going to be, where do we overlap? And that is right here. I overlap right here in this area. And if I counted that, boys and girls, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, I'm going to end up with 14/10. That's my overlap. Here's my 6 groups, and this time I have 6 groups of 400ths. I could easily just create 6 groups of 400ths. There you go. There's my 6 groups of 400ths. And I can count 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 hundredths is my product. Here's where we are going to color again. Because again, I have 6/10 of 4/10. So I'm going to do my 6/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just going to do it really nice so you can just see that I do it nice. There's my 6/10, okay? Now I can have my 4/10. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that sweet spot is, where do they work? Right here. All of those, okay? And if I counted it, I would count 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. 24 hundredths. That's my overlap, and that's what matters. Just like up here, this is my overlap. All right? I want to now, on the back side, circle the greater value. Well, if I have 4 groups of tenths or 4 groups of hundredths, what's going to be my greater number? The more to the right I go on my place value, the lower my numbers get. So 5/10 is greater than 5 hundredths. So 4 groups of 5/10 is going to be greater. 6 is a greater number than 6/10. So 3 groups of 6 is going to be greater than 3 groups of 6/10. 1/10 is greater than 1/100th. So 2 groups of 1/10 is greater than 2 groups of 1/100ths. And now we're looking at this, explaining how the place value of the digits in the factors affect the place value of the digits in the product. So how I want to explain it is, the greater value that the factor has, which is the greater value that this has, 4 groups of this or 3 groups of this, the greater value of my numbers here, my factors here, okay, the greater value my product is having. That means, watch, because my 5/10 is greater than 5 hundredths, this value, my product is going to be greater. Okay? All right, boys and girls, I hope that I hope that you got more right than you did wrong. I hope that you guys are learning. I am going to have you put this in your math folder, and then I will collect everything when I get back. So go ahead and put it in your math folder, and I will talk to you later.